Welcome to the City Council meeting. Before Mayor Parker calls the meeting to order, we ask that you please be seated and silence all electronic devices. City Council meetings are conducted for the official business of City Council and to receive input from residents. Members of the public attending meetings shall observe rules of decorum and shall not engage in conduct that interferes with the ability of those present to observe or to participate in the meeting without disruption or fear of intimidation, threats, or hostility. An individual engaging in disruptive conduct may be removed from the chamber and could be arrested for disruption of a meeting. For those of you who requested to speak, when your name is called, please come forward to the center podium. The countdown clock is displayed on the left monitor and will indicate how much time is remaining. A bell will sound when you have 30 seconds remaining. Before you begin your comments, please state your name. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to your Fort Worth City Council meeting. Call us to order.
Today's invocation will be provided by Councilmember Flores. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledges of allegiance.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to bless our City Council meeting. Make it a place and a time for civil discourse and respect. We also ask that you bless new council member Chris Jameson as he starts his term. Grant him wisdom and patience to serve his district and city. In your name we pray, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Council, before we move into our special presentations this evening, I'm going to hand over the microphone to our brand new City Council member for Council District 10, Councilmember Chris Jameson. Please give him a round of applause and welcome him to City Council. Chris, we're very proud of you and certainly welcome you and your experience in business here to City Council. And with that, the microphone is yours.
Thank you. It's an incredible honor to sit here today and serve the city I love. I do not take this responsibility lightly. One of the most meaningful parts of this journey was the opportunity to meet so many residents of District 10 on front porches, at community events, and at polling locations during early voting and on Election Day. These conversations mattered. Hearing your concerns, your ideas, your hopes for Fort Worth reminded me what public service is truly about: people. I also want to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who supported this campaign, the volunteers, friends, neighbors, donors, and supporters who gave their time, energy, encouragement, and belief in this vision. Campaigns are never won alone, and I'm deeply thankful for every person who stood beside me through this journey. I also want to acknowledge Alicia Ortiz and thank her for a hard-fought campaign and for her deep care and commitment to the community. District 10 is fortunate to have so many people willing to step forward and serve because they genuinely care about the future of our neighborhoods and our city. I'm committed to leading with integrity, listening to our community, and working hard every day to help make Fort Worth safer, stronger, and prepared for the future. Thank you again for your trust and support. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you, Chris. Jeanette, back to you.
Our first presentation will be a presentation by the 2026 Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club.
Thank you, and I believe we have several representatives from Colonial and Charles Schwab Challenge to present a few things to council. Gentlemen.
Good evening, Mayor Parker, City Manager Chapa, members of the council. On behalf of the 2026 Charles Schwab Challenge, we are delighted to formally invite you all to our tournament this year. I am joined by our chairman, Mr. Kip Adams, who will begin passing out the badges. I'm also joined by our tournament executive, Michael Toth, who will help him, and Frank Cordiero, you all know as our CEO at Colonial. This is a very special time for our tournament, but it's even more than that, a special time for our city. This is one of the biggest pieces of exposure that our city gets every year. We will be broadcast over the 4 days of the tournament in over 200 countries. Will be broadcast in over 30 languages. And every time they see a broadcast, they will see images and hear stories about Fort Worth. So it is a tremendous return on investment for all of us that love our great city and live here and work here. And of course, the real magic of what we do is Colonial Charities. And that organization, now being led by Brian Estridge, will raise money this year that will go directly into the pockets of local charities here. Last year alone, $19 million were raised from our tournament and went back into Fort Worth charities. So we are very excited. This is our 80th year of hosting the PGA event at our location. It's May 25th through the 31st. Thank you for letting us join you tonight, and we hope you will join us in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next will be a presentation of a recognition for the Fort Worth ISD Science Fair winners.
At this time, I would like to invite our amazing students that are here this evening, recognized as our Fort Worth Independent School District Science Fair winners. Kids, if you want to come on down to the front, I'm going to read a few things, and then we're going to recognize each of you individually. For those that weren't aware, the Fort Worth ISD Science Fair is an annual event that brings together students from various schools in our city to showcase all of their scientific projects. This fair provides an excellent opportunity for our students to demonstrate their creativity, innovation, and problem-solving skills. It also encourages them to pursue careers in scientific fields, and we have 16 amazing students joining us today from various elementary schools who all participated in the fair last month and represent the top 10 highest scoring projects, earning them the distinction of Tier 1 award winners. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your amazing students. Please give them a round of applause. And of course, they would not be here and successful without their amazing teachers. Rocco Williams is the K through 12 science coordinator. Thank you so much for being here, Rocco. So I want to give appropriate recognition to each of these students, and so I'm going to read each of their names and their project name, which is quite impressive. Our first up is Miss Paisley Morgan. Paisley's project was Galloping Through the Ages Heart Rate Recovery in Horses. Congratulations to Miss Paisley. Where are you, Paisley? Awesome. Next up is Miss Isabella Class with Drag Time as a project name. Where's Miss Isabella? And Emily Perry, Which Water Gets Hotter? Congratulations to Emily. Ava Fuller, Do you need to need, get it? No pun intended. Jericho Dennis with Human or AI. This was a group project. Jericho is joined by Donovan Espino and Journey Newsom. Congratulations to each of you. And Miss Avery Flush, who pay the price for pretty perfect polish. Lucas Sanchez, Rolling into Physics, How Ball Size Affects Speed and Distance. And another great group pop project called Popcorn Paradise included the following students: Maylin Marmelehello, Lorenzo Barron, Alexander Mora, Camila Guillen, and Amelia Maldonado. Congratulations to each of you as well. With Keep It Neutral is Catalina Colazzo. Alessandra Dominguez, which is Ready, Set, Fly. And last is Amelia Melton, EGG, posing The Truth About Tooth Enamel. That one sounds very interesting also. We've really enjoyed getting to have these students come down and remind us what it's all about. So kiddos, thank you. And I'm gonna ask my council members to come down because these students represent numerous schools, across Fort Worth, and we're very, very proud of you.
Our next presentation will be a presentation of a recognition for the achievements of the North Crowley High School basketball team under the leadership of head coach Tommy Brackle.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. It is such a sincere pleasure to have this opportunity to recognize not only these young men on the honor of being the 2026 UIL Class 6A Division I State Championship winners for this year. So let's give a round of applause for that. But I'm also honored to also be joined here by my former Crowley ISD leadership family. So in recognition of the North Crowley Panthers for winning the 2026 UIL Class 6A Division I State Championship and bringing Fort Worth its first UIL boys basketball state title in 18 years. I'm saying 18 years. Under the leadership of head coach Tommy Brackle, the Panthers captured their second state championship and first since 2008 with a 65-52 victory over San Antonio Brennan Bears. So tonight we have our North Crowley High School head coach Tommy Brackle. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Coach Brackle. He is the head men's basketball coach. He has served for 28 years at North Crowley since it opened. He's a two-time state champion in 2008 and 2026. All-time record is 828 wins and 163 losses. He was Coach of the Year. He also is the John R. Wooden Legacy Award recipient. And also, well, let's give him a hand for that. So Coach Brackle. Behind every great coach is a great coach staff, and so we have Chris Hastings, the associate head coach, also assistant coach of the year. And we have our other assistant coaches, Ethan Anderson, Nathan Purvis, Gabe Russell, and Landon Barnes. And I do also want to recognize our student athletes, our seniors that are here with us tonight. We have Landon Barnes, Alex Barther, Billy Crockett, Jonathan Fox, Benjamin Jones, Trey Hall, and Tyler Hastings. Can we give these gentlemen a round of applause? And so it's no secret that my colleague, Chris Nettles, Councilman Chris Nettles, is a proud alumni, I always get this wrong, of North Crowley High School. And so he is sharing in this recognition tonight. And I want you to join us at the podium, Councilman Nettles, along with our young men and also our trustees who I want to recognize tonight as well. So if we could recognize our superintendent, Dr. Michael McFarland, who's in the house. And our Board of Trustee members, Dr. Latanya Woodson-Mayfield, Dr. Nedra Robinson, and trustee Shakina C.C. Watkins, who's also in the house. All right, so if y'all can join me at the podium, I have a lot more words for you there.
Go to well. We call it the well.
All right, so I asked these young men, were they tired of celebrating? And like, yeah, we're champions already, let it go. Because we have celebrated them in so many different ways over in Crowley ISD. But I did want the opportunity to recognize them here along with my colleague, Councilman Nettles. Councilman Nettles, do you want to say a few words before we go?
Yeah, well, thank you. Um, Again, I said this at the championship, and I really want to say it again, that we are super proud of the North Crowley boys basketball team for the effort that you guys are doing and showing up for Fort Worth. I said it then that back in the day when North Crowley was first existing, it wasn't no 817. It wasn't no North Crowley. But over the years, Utah Bracco also was there when I was in high school. Please, I hope you haven't shared the stories. I think he escorted me to the office a few times, but you have been a sounding board for North Crowley, so really appreciate you. And because of you guys, the city has been supporting you. 817 is on hats, on T-shirts, and that is really because of North Crowley, not because of any other school in Fort Worth. And so, on behalf of the mayor, I'm sure she'll have words, and this entire Fort Worth City Council, we appreciate what you guys are doing, and we show you so much support. Thank you, Mr. Lane, for doing all the work that you're doing as the principal of North Crowley and the staff.
And so I do want to echo that. Chris kind of stole my thunder on that, but that's okay. My fellow colleague in the work and longtime friend, thank you so much for the great work that you're doing, Dr. Lane and North Crowley. We are so happy to have you in our district and also at the helm of our school. So thank you. All right. So we have, I'm going to read this recognition, you guys. And you have to understand, Crowley is near and dear to my heart. It's been my home, my adult life. So you want to share in reading this with me? Okay. So, whereas the North Crowley High School boys basketball program demonstrated extraordinary determination, discipline, teamwork, and resilience throughout the 2025-2026 basketball season, representing Crowley Independent School District with excellence and integrity, and whereas, through hard work, perseverance, and a collective commitment to greatness, the student athletes and coaching staff achieved the distinguished honor of becoming the 2026 Texas Conference 6A Division I state champions. And whereas the program's success reflects not only athletic excellence, but also the strength of character, unity, sportsmanship, and leadership displayed by the players, coaches, staff, and supporters who contributed to this historic achievement. And whereas the program has brought tremendous pride and recognition to Crowley ISD, the city of Fort Worth, and the surrounding community, with this championship season standing as a lasting symbol of perseverance, teamwork, and community pride. Now, therefore, with profound respect and enduring appreciation, the city of Fort Worth hereby recognizes and honors the North Crowley High School boys basketball program for its championship achievement and its exemplary representation of the community. This accomplishment reflects the highest standard of excellence and will stand as a defining source of pride for the city of Fort Worth for generations to come. Congratulations, gentlemen. And Mayor, if you don't mind, I took a point of privilege, and also with you, trustee, with Councilman Nettles. Coach Brackle, 28 years of dedicated service. I haven't gotten there, but I'm not far from it. So I know it was hard work. And to bring home 2 state championship titles and 1 education career is quite a feat. So I wanted to take a point of privilege in recognizing you as well for your service. So bear with me. Whereas Coach Tommy Brackle has served Crowley Independent School District and the North Crowley High School basketball program with exceptional dedication, leadership, and integrity, building a culture rooted in discipline, excellence, and accountability. And whereas throughout his long-standing tenure as head basketball coach, he has mentored and developed generations of student athletes, instilling values of perseverance, teamwork, character, and leadership that extend far beyond the basketball court. And whereas under his leadership, the North Crowley High School basketball program has achieved sustained success and statewide recognition, including a state championship in 2008, and most recently, the 2026 Texas Conference 6A Division I state championship. And whereas Coach Brackle's unwavering commitment to the students, families, and greater Fort Worth community has strengthened the legacy of athletic excellence within Crowley ISD while inspiring pride throughout the city of Fort Worth. And whereas his leadership has reflected not only competitive excellence, but also a profound investment in the personal growth, future success, and well-being of the young people entrusted to his guidance. And now, therefore, the city of Fort Worth hereby recognizes and honors you, Coach Tommy Brackle, for your distinguished leadership, championship legacy, and enduring contributions to the North Crowley High School basketball program and the broader Fort Worth community. Congratulations, Coach Brackle. Okay, Coach Brackle, did you want to have some words also before we go? Okay.
Really appreciate everybody having us tonight, and I just want to take just a second to let you know that, a lot of people throw around the term student athletes. We had an incredible year, 35-3. Most of you were able to follow the run, all the way to the state championship and going and beating San Antonio Brennan in their town and bringing home the state championship. But these guys are the student part of it as well. Of our 19 students that participated at the varsity level this year, either on the team or as student assistants, 15 of them were academic all-district, and 3 of the young men. And these are our seniors here with us tonight, and 3 of the young men were actually academic all-state as well. So we're very proud of them as the student part of student athletes. And thank you guys for having us tonight.
Mayor, if you'll join us down here, I would love to get a picture with you as well. And also trustees and superintendent and principal and coaches, we got everyone? All right.
Can I see everyone's space? Make sure I see everyone's space. All right, let's look here first on 3. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, and a couple other people.
Next will be a presentation of a recognition for Mental Health Awareness Month.
I've got the folks from the Mental Health Connection joining me. I'm also going to ask Buck Wheeler, who's standing in the back of the room, to come down and join us too. For those of you that don't know, he is in charge of our Fort Worth PD Wellness Unit, so I think it's appropriate that he be here with us at this podium as well. Surprise.
Yeah, you're welcome. Not today. Come on up, we don't bite. Mental Health Month is incredibly important to me, and I want to start this proclamation by sharing with everybody in this room that it's important to me because I too struggle with mental health, both depression and anxiety. And I say that because there's a stigma in our community around mental health and what that looks like and what you can and can't do when you struggle with mental health. And I'm here to show you that you can be successful and a productive member of our community, provided you have the right supports. And so I'm really proud of the work we do at Fort Worth PD to make sure that we have the right supports for our police officer, and then the work that the Mental Health Connection does to make sure that our community, the city of Fort Worth, has the right support that they need to be productive members of our community. In 2024, Tarrant County recorded approximately 322 suicide deaths. That's a rate of about 11.7 deaths per 100,000 residents in our community. We have about approximately 12% of adults in the United States regularly experience feelings of worry, nervousness, and anxiety. We have amazing entities in our community, such as JPS, the Mental Health Connection, and others that work to make sure that we have the support and the mental health care that we need. As one of the fastest growing cities, the city of Fort Worth continues to support these community partnerships and innovative programs and awareness efforts aimed at reducing the stigma around mental health and encouraging people to seek the wellness that they need. And so with that, I am going to offer the microphone to Ashley to say a few words.
I'm actually going to speak.
All right, never mind.
Okay. I'd like to thank Mayor Parker and our city council members for this proclamation during Mental Health Awareness Month. Today, we wear green as a symbol of mental health. Green also signifies growth, and when we're able to take care of our mental health, we can grow as individuals. We are here today on behalf of our 70 member agencies and individual therapists who work so hard every day to provide mental health services to those in our community. Mental Health Connection is in its 27th year of fostering partnerships and collaboration to help streamline access to mental health services for Fort Worth and Tarrant County residents. We are grateful for this opportunity and this recognition. Thank you.
All right.
I'll make some edits just for you.
Our next presentation will be a presentation of a recognition to professional cyclist Emily Newsom for excellence in professional cycling and community leadership.
Thank you. All right. If you didn't notice her legs as she walked up, not to talk about your body, but I am here with an amazing cyclist here from the city of Fort Worth who has done some really incredibly things both internationally, nationally, and here in Fort Worth. So I'd like to recognize her today. At the podium with me is Emily Newsom. She is recognized, she is an elite cyclist who has competed at the highest levels of sport, including the Tour de France. Femme, right? Am I okay? She continues to compete at that level, but she doesn't just stop at her competition. She makes sure that folks in Fort Worth have the ability to engage in that sport as well, and we appreciate her bringing the activity here to Fort Worth. to put us on an international stage and then also to bring that back home. Her dedication and leadership and service exemplify the positive impacts athletes can have on both us, both on and off the trails. She's continued her connection here in Fort Worth to serve as an inspiration to athletes and residents alike in the city, and we proudly recognize her ongoing contributions to our community. And so, Emily, I'd like you to tell council a little bit more about the incredible work you do here in the city of Fort Worth.
Well, thank you for having me here. It's quite an honor, and I'm very pleased to be here. I actually do not come from Texas. I came from Washington State, and I moved here to pursue my master's degree in piano performance at TCU, where I studied with Tomas Shungar and Jose Figali. And when I moved here, it really felt like I moved to a totally different country. Like everything was different, the temperature, the way the air felt, and definitely the people, but in a very good way. Because I remember when I was first walking to school and I was wearing jeans, and it was August, so obviously I'm not from Texas. And I think 10 people stopped as I was walking and just asked me, "Hey, do you need a ride? Can we help you?" And I was really struck by just how friendly and wonderful and welcoming Fort Worth was. And since then, I've been here now since 2007, so almost 20 years. It's really become my home. I married a Fort Worth man, and I love it here. It's definitely a place that I call my home. And as far as cycling, I've now moved into gravel racing, which is actually very significant to the US because it's where it started. So we like road cycling is typically known more in Europe, but gravel cycling is definitely true to the US. And so I race on gravel roads, which usually means way out in the middle of nowhere, anywhere from 100 to 200 miles. And it's very fun, it's very challenging, and I've gotten to meet so many cool people doing it. And through that, I actually met my friends who are here tonight. They're the ones who initiated this. And I also put on clinics, like women's clinics and women's retreats, where I can help women in particular get engaged with the sport because it can be quite intimidating. So breaking down some of those barriers, teaching them how to do things like plug a tire, maintain your bike, all those kind of things. So that's what I do now. And again, thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored.
Our next presentation will be presentation of a recognition celebration of the inaugural UNT Health College of Nursing graduating class.
Thank you, Jeanette. And as our students are maybe coming forward for Councilmember Hill to recognize them, I also wanted to call on Dr. Hall. I think there were a few students in the audience that she wanted to recognize.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight we also have with us the Student Advisory Council from the Chisholm Trail Community Center. We have 11 students with us tonight. If you could please stand and be recognized. These students are the Advisory Council for our Community Center in Fort Worth. They're students of North Crowley High School and North Crowley 9th. They provide information to the community center on, best programs and different ideas for our community center. They are under the leadership of Mr. Philip Colley, and I just want to say thank you, students, for your engagement and your advocacy and for being partners here with the city and with your school. So thank you.
And Councilmember Hill.
I wanted to recognize quickly, too, we have Girl Scout Troop 2750 from Arlington Heights in Monticello neighborhood. We all stand up and be recognized?
Girls.
We're so glad y'all are here. I am presenting a recognition and celebration of the inaugural UNT Health College of Nursing graduating class. And I'd like to invite the president of UNT Health, Dr. Kirk Calhoun, Dr. Cynthia Weston, the Dean of College of Nursing, Dr. Tony Krisnanaka, Valerie Vicinity, and Kathy Neese Brown, the Senior Director of Development, to join me. And while they're coming up, I'm incredibly proud to present this historic milestone for the University of North Texas Health Science Center to honor the inaugural graduating class of the College of Nursing. On Wednesday, May 20th, these trailblazing graduates will walk the stage at Dickey's Arena, marking the first time the College of Nursing's Masters of Science and Nursing Practice Innovation cohort joins the commencement ceremonies. Many of you don't know, Texas has the second fewest nurses per capita in the United States, and regional schools have struggled to meet demand, turning away over 30,000 qualified applicants due to limited space. And by 2026, the unmet demand for nurses in Texas is projected to reach 36,881. This inaugural class represents the first wave of a local pipeline designed to fill these vacancies with highly trained professionals. The MSN in Nursing Practice Innovation is the first program of its kind in Texas, shifting the focus from traditional clinical tasks and preparing these nurses for leadership roles. Quickly read the recognition, we'll do a quick picture. Whereas the UNT Health College of Nursing has pioneered a transformational milestone in Texas healthcare education with the development and successful launch of the Master of Science in Nursing Innovation program, the first of its kind in Texas, rooted in the UNT Health Science Center's commitment to technology, innovation, and interdisciplinary collaboration, while preparing nurse leaders to design, implement, and scale solutions to complex health challenges. And whereas the program aligns with the City of Fort Worth's strategic focus on medical innovation, bioscience, and the workforce development, strengthening the regional healthcare ecosystem and expanding access to forward-thinking, high-quality care for residents across North Texas and beyond. And whereas the faculty, administrators, and partners of the UNT Health College of Nursing have demonstrated exceptional vision and leadership in establishing this program, reflecting a clear understanding of the evolving role of nurses as innovators, change agents, and leaders in healthcare transformation. And whereas the inaugural graduating class of the Master of Science in Nursing Innovation program represents both a significant academic achievement and historic precedent, as the first graduates of this program are redefining nursing education in Texas, whose dedication, creativity, commitment to innovation will have a lasting impact on healthcare and community well-being. And the City of Fort Worth proudly recognizes this milestone and commends the UNT Health College of Nursing for the first graduate class on today, May 12th, as UNT Health College of Nursing Day. Thank you, guys.
I want to thank you for this recognition and honor. Fort Worth does need nurses, and we're here to partner with you to prepare them to serve our communities. And it's very fitting that today you would call this UNT Health College of Nursing Day. It is Florence Nightingale's birthday. So thank you for this recognition. Thank you to the city for supporting us.
Big smile on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Our next presentation will be a recognition celebrating 250 years of the U.S. Postal Service.
So I love to tease the mayor and council that I am the oldest person on the council, but I don't think that I can even top 250 years. So I would like to ask Jennifer Moore, President Ben Martinez, who is the Association of Postal Workers President, and Mary Steelman to join me here at the podium. So 250 years is an extraordinary accomplishment. I don't think the three of them together are 250 years old, but Jennifer has served with the United States Postal Service for 13 years, where she has built meaningful relationships throughout the Fort Worth community and developed a deep understanding of the services that connect people every day. She currently serves as the American Postal Workers Union Legislative and Political Director for Fort Worth, as well as the Postal Office Women for Equal Rights Coordinator. And so she is especially vivacious and does an amazing job. But President Martinez and Ms. Steelman, I want to make sure that the city of Fort Worth gives you this special recognition. And it says, today, look, I have to put on my glasses, that shows my age. Today, whereas today we recognize the 250th anniversary of the United States Postal Service. Whereas established in 1775, before the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the Postal Service has served as one of the nation's oldest and most unifying public institutions. For 250 years, it has provided universal service to every address, reflecting the American principles of liberty, equal access, and service to all, not just some. Whereas the United States Postal Service has connected rural communities and growing cities, businesses, families, service members, and citizens, ensuring reliable and affordable service to every address under its universal service obligation. Whereas the city of Fort Worth affirms its commitment to unity, public service, and the preservation of institutions like yours that bind our communities together. The Postal Service represents the American people's company, operated for service rather than for private profit, and it continues to provide stable jobs and essential services throughout our city. There's a lot more, but therefore, be it resolved that the city of Fort Worth, Texas, hereby recognizes and celebrates the 250th anniversary of the United States Postal Service and honor its continued service to all communities in the city of Fort Worth. So thank you very much. And President Martinez, would you like to have a few words?
Yes, I will. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having us, and thank you for being here in support of this. If you know, we're as old as the Postal Service, as old as the country. 250 years is a long time. Well, I can't say the three of us combined have 250 years. Would it surprise you, though, if we probably had close to 90? I worked at the Postal Service 38 years. She's going on 40, 13. I can probably get about two other people, and we'd probably get about 250 years. But the people there is a longevity job. We're the people's post office. We deliver. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you all so much for just honoring this 250th year anniversary. It wasn't easy to write it, but I appreciate the Fort Worth community. I have a couple of customers that have showed up for me, people from different crafts. It doesn't matter which craft you're from, management, clerk, carrier, mail handler. Everyone's here and we're showing up together and we're representing unity. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Well, it's a real honor to have been appointed to the position of the Executive Plant Manager for Fort Worth. It's also an honor to stand here with the union, my partners, to get the job done and serve our community. Thank you for the recognition for the 250 years. Thank you.
Ask that because the U.S. Postal Service serves every district in Fort Worth, would the mayor and all the council people please join me in taking a picture with this amazing group?
Right in the lens? All right. I'm going to let you get it. All right. All good. Get everyone. We're all still filing in. Okay, can I see everyone's faces? Squeeze in at the end there. Squeeze in at the end here, guys. All right. No one's hiding. No one's hiding. All right. Okay, guys. I'll let her take her photos real quick. All right, guys, here on three. 1, 2, 3. Do a couple more. Okay. Anyone else? No? Right here.
Okay. 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 Oh, here.
Our, our next presentation will be a recognition of World Apraxia Day.
How are you? Is Elliot here? Okay, so this is my friend Kendra Frank. I'm happy to have you back again to recognize World Apraxia Day again. Thank you very much. For those that don't know about Apraxia, the Elliot's here somewhere, and he's been here a couple of times. But the brain functions, but he can't form the words to say what he needs to say. You've created these site boards that we put out at different places. I think you're working with our police department too. We're doing that, but I'll read this out and then I'll give you a few minutes to speak here. It says, whereas childhood apraxia of speech is a rare and complex neurological speech disorder that affects a child's ability to plan and produce the precise, as I'm having a problem now, precise movements needed for speech. And whereas children with apraxia require early, frequent, and intensive speech therapy to make meaningful progress and increased public awareness is essential to ensure timely diagnosis and access to appropriate services. And whereas families, speech, language pathologists, educators, and advocates across Fort Worth work tirelessly to support children with apraxia, helping them find their voices and thrive in school, at home, and in the community. And whereas national and local organizations, including our own Elliot's Voice, promote research, education, and outreach to improve outcomes for children affected by this disorder. And whereas recognizing May as Apraxia Awareness Month encourages understanding, compassion, and support for the children and families impacted by CAS throughout our city. Now, therefore, the City of Fort Worth does hereby proclaim May 2026 as Apraxia Awareness Month. And I'm happy to do this, and you want to have a few words. You're the biggest champion of this, and I want to give you a few minutes.
What started as a mom just saw a gap and just trying to create a better world for my son. Started Elliot's Voice, and then I've just been advocating every year for apraxia, just to put it in front of y'all, just awareness always is the best way. And I thank you always for doing this for us. It's been amazing.
Well, thank you for being a great advocate, for sure.
Thank you.
Take a quick photo.
Yes.
Sorry, Elliot, y'all can take a photo.
Next will be items being continued or withdrawn from the agenda.
Oh, sorry, Jay.
We have one item to be continued.
to the June 23rd meeting. That's MNC ZC 26-041. It's being continued by Councilman Nettles so that council can review the presentation to be done by staff on data centers and their developments on June 2nd.
Mayor, that gets us to the consent agenda speakers, and I believe we have one.
Thank you. Bob Willoughby.
If everybody would stand on your head. See, they used to put this on the screen for every agenda item, and you used to be able to speak 3 minutes on every agenda item, but Mayor Parker changed that. We only get a few minutes spread around here. Anyway, what this has is a firefighter local 440, and any kind of bargaining agreement with a firefighter it's an evil organization. That's what's going on with the Police Association, the Firefighter Association, and the law enforcement. They buy candidates, like police bought Mary Parker. She's owned by the POA. Our DOA is owned by the Tarrant County DA is owned by the POA, and so is the commissioner in Precinct 4, Ramirez. So anyway, this organization like it. And why are they buying candidates? They want a return on their money, I'll grant you. Now, these organizations, this is why I do voter education. I spend most of my time not here. Well, I mean, I spend it here, but here's a waste of time. The ISD, they came in, they removed the whole other board. Maddie, your friends got removed over there. They all got moved out, and they put new ones into ISD. Local voter education. We need to start teaching kids in school how to vote on these people, that you want to hire them the same way you would for a company. If they don't answer questions, you wouldn't hire them for your company, would you? These people don't answer questions. So that's what I want to teach in local, and about this firefighter stuff. Now, this would be good if they put money into debates, advertising all the candidates, educating people, but they don't. They pour money into candidates and buy them is what they do. The POA is number one, which when we get number District 10 in here, to sit in here, I got a book to bring down to show Mr. 10 about the POA, because he's owned by them too, and this group here. They both put him in here. So this is what we want to teach in local voter education. Do not vote for candidates that are bought. Another thing is, on this ballot thing, we asked Maddie to put campaign contribution limits on there so these people couldn't buy them. They don't do that. They like getting those $50,000 and $100,000 deals. So this is no good. It's what makes it worse is the name of it. It's masquerading under the name firefighter. Same thing with police. Those names should not be associated with any kind of dirty organization. But as God is my witness, this organization is no better, because I met with them, and they are arrogant. They're just terrible people. They are terrible, and they're conceited, they're arrogant, and they're no better than the KKK, and that's a God's truth.
Council, that concludes the speakers for consent agenda items.
Motion and a second, council. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be announcements by council, including approval of ceremonial travel if needed.
Thank you. Councilmember Flores, I'm sorry, Council, I don't know who may have
Yeah,
presentations.
it's Councilmember Flores, Hall, and Nettles.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Let's get the first slide up. All right, three parts, left, center, and right. On the left, had the occasion of going to Manuel Jara Elementary School and talking to the kids about their thoughts on what their local city government does, what they're studying, the questions they have about what we do here in the dais and what the city does for them as far as public services. A very inquisitive bunch, some aspiring council members, I would say, Mayor, in there. So very good experience with them. Thank the teachers for giving us the time to spend with the kids. And in the center, Another stop at a Fort Worth ISD school. This is Northside High School. Principal De La Cruz there welcomed us, and we arrived there to support the ladies' flag football team. And we supported through nutrition. We started a little program that local restaurants in D2 step up and provide dinner, for their athletics department. And so, nutritious meals make for, good minds and bodies. And so they were very appreciative. And I want to thank Tres Betos Restaurant on 28th Street for supplying some great pasta, chicken dishes, and other trimmings. All right. And then on the right, we paid a visit to the still under construction, but soon to be completed, Northwest Police Patrol Division. They're off Angle Avenue. They were there with some of the officers and some of the construction crew. I'm really excited that that facility is going to be outstanding. I know that my colleague Macy Hill toured it not that long ago as well, and I think she would agree that we're going to get a wonderful facility that will have extra office space for our officers, community rooms, Code Blue offices, patrol areas for the bike patrol, that is, and specialized storage, among other things. And I have one announcement. The summer kickoff party and free health and safety fair is this Saturday, May 16th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., rain or shine. There'll be games, prizes, arts, craft, bike rodeo, emergency vehicles on display, police horses, lowrider cars, food and treats. And to the first 100 youth, you get free bike helmets. So if you need one, go there. They'll have, health screenings as well. So hope to see you there, and this will be at the Northside Community Center at 1100 Northwest 18th Street. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Councilmember Hall.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So to begin, we want to go ahead, next slide. To begin, I attended the Easter egg hunt at North Crowley High School on April 5th, 2026. If there's any idea what 25,000 Easter eggs being dropped from a helicopter looks like, I got to experience that day. The kids were so excited, and I just want to thank Pastor Parrish Lowry and the Tree of Life Funeral Home for bringing our families together out in District 6. It was a great time, quite a spectacle, and I look forward to doing it again next year. Next slide. We also, along with my colleagues, Mayor and also Councilwoman Beck, we got to attend the celebrating 135 years of excellence at Texas Wesleyan on April 14th. My uncle, chairman of the board there, is rolling off this year, and he will have the opportunity to present my son Xavier with his diploma this Thursday. He is graduating from Texas Wesleyan, so we're excited about this momentous year. Next slide. Charleston State University had their visioning session, their Vision Fort Worth, on April 30th, 2026. Again, joined by our city manager, Jay Pachapa, and Mayor Mandy Parker for a fireside chat with Dr. Hurley, the university president. I always refer to Charleston State as our official D6 university. So much growth in so little time, and so excited about the partnerships that they bring to our community and the opportunities. An educated community is a thriving community, and I'm very fortunate to have Charleston State as partners. Next slide. We had a community input meeting in Como, and we're discussing our neighborhood improvement program and what improvements they'd like to bring to the Como Park. I want to say thank you to our Parks and Rec Department for all of the work that they've done with the Como community on visioning the next steps and the improvements to come in the community. Next slide. I had the fortune of attending the 440s annual barbecue. It was my first. I'm on May 4th, 2026 at the legendary Sammy's, also my first. It was a great time, and I just want to thank them for the invitation and the support. I was there with my colleague, Councilman Netzels, and it was a great afternoon and a great lunch. Next slide. And we are all so excited about, finally, BJ's Wholesale's grand opening, located just off of Chisholm Trail in Alta Mesa. It was a long-awaited arrival. Lots of curiosity about what BJ's was going to look like, because it was new to the community. And so far, I have been very, very pleasantly pleased and surprised. The gas is a deal, so if you're looking for a deal on gas, come visit us at BJ's in District 6. But Councilman Crane was there also to help do the ribbon cutting on that day. So we're excited about BJ's, and I say come and check them out. And you have an opportunity for a $15 membership up until May 17th, and after that, it goes up. Next slide, Rock Creek Ranch site tour. Got a chance to go out with Parks and Rec on this as well. There is the visioning to make this a state park in partnership with the state and also the Army Corps of Engineers. It was pretty awesome to be out there and amongst all of the wildflowers. If you're old, you remember that project of collecting 100 wildflowers. Do y'all remember that project? Am I the only old person that did that? Okay, anyway, you could have got them all here in one stop. So it was a great time, and it was really interesting to see all of the history that's located there and all the preservation. And I learned a lot of eco nerd stuff, and it's really my jam. So I'm excited about the future of Rock Creek Ranch. Next slide. Crowley ISD had their Excellence Expo this past Saturday. It was an opportunity for community to come out for job fair and resources there in the community. We had our district directors, Kennedy Jackson and Andrea West, representing D6 there. And next slide, and that's gonna segue until tomorrow night's town hall. I'll be hosting a town hall and youth summer program fair. One of the things that I championed when I first came on board is having summer activities, enrichment, and engagement for our students. There's always so much unnecessary violence and misconduct and things that happen in the summer, not to mention as an educator, summer slide. So we've engaged more than 30 of our community partners and employers to present opportunities for parents to engage their students in meaningful summer enrichment and also opportunity for our teens to get a job. So come out for a brief 30-minute town hall presentation from me, and most importantly, help get your students engaged in something over the summer to keep them safe, engaged, and thriving. And last slide, we have our mobile office hours on Friday, May 15th. We will be on the southwest side of the district at the Vivian J. Lincoln Library. Essentially, we bring our office to you, so please stop by and let us know what your concerns are with District 6 or things you want to champion or just your ideas or just to come and meet us in person. So we look forward to seeing you on Friday, May 15th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And last but certainly not least, we have a new intern. District 6 is proud to welcome our newest team member, our spring 2026 intern, Ms. Tanley Malin. Tanley is a recent graduate of Tarleton State University, where she earned her degree in political science with a minor in history. Oh, so much in common. She has served 2 state officials and worked full-time at the 2025 Texas legislative session before returning to Fort Worth. She aspires to attend law school after completing a master's in public administration and pursue a career in constitutional law with hopes of one day serving as an elected official at the state or national level. So we are very excited in the D6 office to have Tanley join our team this spring, and we look forward to the passion and dedication she'll bring as she engages and advocates for the residents of D6. And that's it. Happy summer, District 6.
Thank you, Mia. And Councilmember Nettles?
All right. So on April the 16th, where Leaders Begin mural was unveiled at Texas Wesleyan in celebration of Morris Foundation's 40th anniversary, a nonprofit that partners with local healthcare and social services here in Fort Worth. Next slide, please. On April the 18th, I had 2 stops. First stop was as the Women's Federation free eye exam. And then the next stop was at Newbury Christian Community Center outreach event. Next slide was our second annual District 8 Community All-Stars event, where we honor our community, neighborhoods, and residents, as well as our police officers. And Mayor Pro Tem Carlos Flores joined us. Next slide. District 8 continued to climb re-entry job and resource fair. Over 1,400 jobs opening, 1,600 job seekers attended. My district director, Chelsea, attended along with Sarah and spoke on behalf of District 8 with others present there. Thank you. Next slide. Avenue at Sycamore Park Community plus PBS filming event. Sycamore Park was selected by Texas as the affordable housing provider, and there was an event there talking about the importance of affordable housing all over the city of Fort Worth, and so you can tune in to that interview on PBS. Next and final slide. I had opportunity to go to Career Day at Leadership Academy at Forest Oak Middle School. teaching the kids about civic engagement, and it was a great event there. And the final announcement I have is going to be our Court in the Community Warrant Forgiveness event. It's going to be at Pilgrim Valley Missionary Baptist Church, 4800 South Riverside Drive, Fort Worth, Texas, 76119, Saturday, May 30th, from 9 a.m. to noon. Please come out and get your warrants forgiven. Those are my announcements.
Thank you, Chris. Council, I believe that's the end of our presentations.
And council, we have no speakers on the non-consent agenda items that are not public hearing or zoning. So we'll move into public hearings. The first one being MNC 260379.
Thank you. And Council Member Nettles, we have no speakers on this item.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is MNC 26-0380.
Councilman Jameson. Motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is MNC 26-0399.
Councilmember Hill, we have one speaker on this item, but only if there's opposition. To my knowledge, there is none.
Second.
Motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
And council, we had a request to take up ZC-26-012 right after this case, since they're companion cases.
Okay. Councilmember Crane, yeah. Thank you. Motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be MNC 26-0400.
Got a motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be MNC 26-0405.
Councilmember Crane, okay. Motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-004.
Councilmember Nettles, we have a few speakers on this item. The first is CB Team, followed by Travis Clegg.
Good evening, Council. Is that on? It's on. All right. Good evening, Council. Firstly, congratulations, Councilman Jameson, on your first night. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Thank you for your time this evening. First, a little bit of background on this site and this case. Several entities related to the Amon Carter estate jointly own this tract and have for decades. This is the third attempted rezoning of this property in the last 5 years. Both industrial and medium-density residential have been attempted, did not receive support from the neighborhood, and subsequently failed. So you're probably wondering what's different this time around. And I'd say three things. First, the state legislature passed Senate Bill 15 last session. Trinity Habitat for Humanity is involved in this project now, and the property is, for the first time in those decades, for sale, meaning that something is going to happen. The 39-acre site sits with residential to the north and otherwise surrounded by industrial. When I was initially engaged by the owners to market this property, I set out to try and find a use that the neighborhood would support or at the very least not be opposed to. Knowing that a recent rezoning attempt for smaller lot, single family, and for rent housing was just denied, that was out. The whole site being industrial was also out for a number of reasons. After looking at the site, it became clear to me that the landscape buffer zones and a new residential community could perfectly fit and complement the existing community of Highland Hills. I immediately engaged with Trinity Habitat for Humanity. They got excited about this potential project and the possibility of bringing several types of housing to the area. We began engaging with the councilman's office and the neighborhood association, heard input, made changes, submitted new plans, which went well at first but eventually fell apart. In fact, the most recent request from the neighborhood was that all 22 acres to the south of the residential portion be donated as a park. This was a non-starter from the owners, my client's perspective, since they needed to sell this property and not donate it. The big dilemma here is that the last year, state legislature passed SB 15, which prohibits a city from requiring lots larger than 3,000 square feet on certain qualifying properties, of which this one does qualify. So now, by right, a developer can build a very similar product to what the neighborhood rejected very recently. I urge you to approve. I got 30 seconds. Okay, sorry. The neighborhood has previously made it clear they don't want either of these uses, but for the first time in decades, the property will sell to someone and will be developed for something. In summary, I believe this is an opportunity for this council to make a decision that will bring affordable housing for purchase and not for rent, and a much increased tax basis to District 8 while providing maximum buffer zones and shielding to the existing uses. I urge you to approve this rezoning plan.
Our next speaker is Travis Clegg, followed by Jerome Johnson.
Travis Clegg with Westwood Professional Services. We've been the consulting engineer on this property for 8 years, I would say. The last 4 zoning cases we brought before you guys. So there's a lot of history behind those things between Westwood and Peloton Land Solutions. So if you have any questions about the history or why things didn't work in the past, I'd be happy to answer those questions or any of the questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jerome Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor Parker, Councilman Nettles, and the rest of the council. My name is Jerome Johnson. I serve as president of the Highland Hills Neighborhood Association, and I'm here to speak in opposition of this proposal simply because as a community, we don't want just anything right next door to us. And honestly, what we stated to Mr. Team at our last neighborhood association meeting is we are tired of developers, real estate agents, and other entities coming to our community telling us what we can't have, rather than having a conversation with us about options that we can have. And what I stated to him is, in my humble opinion, this is a classic example of environmental injustice. It's unfair zoning, and it's reminiscent of how communities were redlined, and it's honestly environmental racism. We're already surrounded by industrial entities, and so we don't want that. We've always said that we're open to single-family homes. However, we would like them to be compatible to the homes that are already in our community, which are A5, not AR. They're on 5,000 square foot lots, not 3,000. And despite what the state legislature may have recently passed, just because you can build smaller lots doesn't mean that you should. There's a lot of things that are legal that aren't moral. Let's talk about slavery. It was legal in the United States. It wasn't moral. And I know that there are some people that think we should go back to it, but that's not moral. We are not a community that's just going to stand by and let people tell us this is what we're going to do. It makes no sense to come to our meetings and ask us for our feedback if you're going to say, oh, that's a no-go off the top. Yes, we would love to see that land donated as parkland. And since the Carters are one of the richest families in this city, why not donate it? Why not be a good neighbor? That's my question. I'll give you your 28 seconds back.
Councilmember Nettles.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I want to do a couple of things tonight before we get to the decision making. I won't belabor your time too long. I didn't hear, see if you come back. I didn't hear you lay out the plan. So part of the location would be the Habitat for Humanity, and then the other part would be light industrial.
That's right. So it would be a PD based on light industrial, which excludes those certain unfavorable uses, as you might see up there. That would be furthest away from the community with a landscape buffer, the new Trinity Habitat neighborhood, which they're very excited to build, another landscape buffer. Then it starts the beginning of the PD tract, the commercial tract that has their own landscape requirements. So you're talking about 3 landscape buffers and a neighborhood between the projects.
Jeanette, can I ask you to pull up the staff report from zoning while they're speaking? Thank you.
That's the site, and you'll see basically the thick areas up at the top. Very very top would be the landscape buffer. Then the Trinity Habitat community, then another landscape buffer, and then everything commercial, light industrial would be on the front. And it doesn't mandate industrial, of course. There may be the neighborhood in all the meetings that we attended, they expressed interest of some kind of commercial uses, office, retail, whatever it may be. This doesn't exclude any of those. But as a real estate broker, knowing the people that I've talked to, the interest that I've had, it's most likely going to be a shallow bay type of product or a flex warehouse type of product.
Okay, thank you. Then secondly, I want someone from our either legal team or to give us information on the state Senate Bill 15. Because this is currently zone A5. Is anybody here that can, maybe if it's not the legal team.
Melinda or Teresa.
Or whoever can. Or maybe zoning.
What's up to y'all? Choose who wants to. Doesn't matter to us.
So Senate Bill 15 was adopted by the council, and it does, I'm not by the council, I'm sorry, by the state legislature, and it does allow for small lot development on properties that are 5 acres or over.
In any zoning or
In any residential zoning district.
Okay. So if this case is denied, then they can bring in any type of development, such as the small lots that Jerome said he doesn't like, or the neighborhood.
Under the Senate bill, small lot development, this is unplatted land, over 5 acres, small lot development in conformance with the statute would be allowed.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, do you understand that? Okay. All right, thank you. Did anyone have any questions on the dais? No? Okay. So I've been at a lot of the meetings at Highland Hills, and one of the things that we do know about Highland Hills is that they don't want any more industrial backing up to their neighborhoods. And however, I do believe Habitat for Humanity, Trinity Habitat for Humanity does quality work. And if those homes are built, they will become the residents of Highland Hills. It won't be 2 separate neighborhoods. And so whether it's Habitat for Humanity or the original neighborhood, they are Highland Hills residents. And Highland Hills Neighborhood Association has been a very strong opponent of having industrial backed up to their neighborhood. And as the neighborhood understands that if this case is denied, that any type of housing can be developed on there that does not have to come across this dais. So I want to make sure that we're clear, and I think Mr. Johnson understands that. So I have to stand by the neighborhood. I have supported, I believe in neighborhoods that are organized, and I have not rezoned any development on this dais without the neighborhood support. And so I'm going to continue that today and move for denial.
Got a motion, council? Got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Please vote.
Councilmember
Let's
Nettle.
try again.
Nettles.
Yeah. Motion carries.
Next will be ZC-25-17-1.
Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. I do have one speaker on this item, Conley Brewer. Is Conley present? Here he comes.
Mayor and council members. I just had some questions that I'd hope that the council would consider regarding the small lot rezoning. And first one being the impact of the neighborhood and how it could ensure that the increase in density does not overwhelm streets, parking, or local infrastructure in the established neighborhoods. And what is the minimum lot size being proposed, and how many homes could realistically be built on a typical single-family lot under the change? And a consideration for the infrastructure capacity, and if the city has conducted an infrastructure study to determine whether the water, sewer, and roads can support the increased density in the older neighborhoods. And how will the city be notified to residents when a developer applies to have a lot subdivided into a smaller lot home? And if there's been any kind of study on the potential increase in homeowners insurance premiums to people in those neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brewer. I may ask city staff, whomever is here, an appropriate speaker to address at a high level some of those questions Mr. Brewer asked.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Dave McCorkadale with Development Services. So as you've heard, Senate Bill 15 does require or allow small lot development. The requirements to develop under Senate Bill 15, which this ordinance addresses, is the parcel has to be 5 acres or greater and has never been platted before. So any of the development for small lots would have to be on not an existing neighborhood, but a large open parcel that's not platted larger than 5 acres.
Thank you. Very helpful. Councilmember Crane. It's green. I don't know what's wrong. There we go.
Either. Just for clarification, the Senate Bill 15 passed by the Senate, these are just adopting what the state is requiring us to do at this point.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Just want that up for the record.
Council, that's the conclusion of our speakers on this item. Any other comments? I've got a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-25-173.
Second.
Motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-008.
Councilmember Flores.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-018.
Well, there it is. Oh, thank you. David Gregory. If there's no opposition, to my knowledge, there is none. Councilmember Peoples. Got a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-027.
Councilmember Hill, we have 3 speakers. First is Teresa McGee, followed by Lori Murray Boskin.
Hello, good evening, Council. My name is Teresa McGee. I'm with Texas Surveying and Engineering, and I'm with the developers who would like to develop this.
A little bit closer, Teresa. There you go.
Sorry
You're
about
fine. Thank
that.
you.
Is that better? Okay, I'm with the developers and owner who would like to rezone this from the current B to ER, General Neighborhood Commercial Restricted. They have plans to build a professional office building at this location of approximately 5,000 to 6,400 square feet. And in doing so, they want to kind of rejuvenate the area that's surrounding it. And so if they are allowed the rezoning at this property, then it would continue to house 3 townhomes over the next 4 consecutive lots under Purvis for the residential community to still be enriched with the professional office building on the corner. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Councilmember Hill? Okay. Our next speaker is Lori Murray Boskin, followed by Christopher Cisneros.
Good evening to you all. My name is Lori Murray Boskin. I'm the president of Arlington Heights Neighborhood Association, and I'm speaking on behalf of that organization this evening. I'm here to advocate for the denial of CZ 26027, which allows commercial encroachment into our 100-year-old historic neighborhood. Commercial encroachment is one of the most consequential issues our neighborhood association faces. Our residential neighborhood borders both Montgomery Street and Camp Bowie Boulevard. So we deal with the pressures from commercial development almost daily. A year ago, the City Council approved a sweeping rezoning of more than 10 acres of commercial properties along Montgomery Street. We believe that this rezoning clearly established the boundaries between commercial and residential properties for this area. If this council approves ZZ 26027, commercial development moves even deeper into our residential neighborhood, deeper than the long established zoning ordinance allows, deeper than the comprehensive plan calls for, deeper than the city's own staff report recommends, and deeper than the Fort Worth Zoning Commission supports. Moving the line between commercial and residential, even incrementally, opens the door to more encroachment, threatening residential development all along the corridor and our neighborhood in general. Most importantly, it sets a precedent none of us wants to see because of the potential negative impact of commercial on adjacent residents. Investors are already building new high dollar townhomes in residential blocks that intersect Montgomery Street. That is what we'd like for the applicant to do for these 2 residential zoned parcels. The applicant's representatives have stated that these developers are planning to buy and redevelop residential parcels further up Dexter Avenue, but it's contingent on getting the zoning changed for commercial for these 2 lots. We do not support attaching strings to this or any zoning case. What is the compelling reason for changing this zoning from residential to commercial? Does the community really need a private office building, or would housing be more appropriate? Residential zoning and development surrounds 3608 and 3612 Dexter on all sides except for the Montgomery Street side. The Zoning Commission unanimously recommends denial for this case, and we agree. Let the record reflect the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Association opposes commercial encroachment and ZC 26027. And I thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Christopher Cisneros.
Hello, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Christopher Cisneros, and I live in Arlington Heights neighborhood. And we adamantly oppose the change in the zoning because the encroachment into our neighborhood, really destroys the integrity of our neighborhood. And we don't oppose I don't oppose the building of residential housing or homes or whatever, but the building going 3 lots into the neighborhood is just too far. And I think if this encroachment happens, other neighborhoods like, Monticello, Rivercrest, Crestwood, Alamo Heights, Ridgely will all have to deal with this encroachment, where, it's a battle. And one neighborhood letting this happen is going to lead to a lot of battles. So we hope, or I hope, that you don't let the zoning let commercial buildings into the neighborhood. The housing is fine. So thank you.
Councilmember Hill, that's the conclusion of our speakers.
Thank you, Teresa. I was going to call you back up real quick just to answer a couple questions. Thank you. Will you talk about the developers purchasing 6 lots in total, correct?
That is correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the 2 lots that we're referencing this evening, are those going to be for what use in particular?
The 2 lots would be specifically for the professional office building site and a parking lot site.
Okay, and how many employees would be in that office building at any given time?
12 at max.
Okay, thank you. And Lori and Christopher, thank you for coming this evening, and I appreciate the partnership with Arlington Heights Neighborhood Association. So I've talked to the developer. There is a precedent for having ER next to E, next to Montgomery Street, and that's on Harley and Bryce. The current site really is a dumping ground. I've driven past it multiple times. I drive it on my way home. It has not been developed and it hasn't been taken care of. And we have a local developer that lives in the area that wants to do the right thing. It also provides a buffer coming off of Montgomery Street into the neighborhood. And the designs that they've shown me, and they've shown Arlington Heights Neighborhood Association about building the 3 duplexes, they fit the neighborhood. It's what the neighborhood's asked for. They've asked for higher end residential to filter into Montgomery Street. And I think it's a huge improvement for the neighborhood, frankly. I do want to protect the neighborhood. I've made that commitment to y'all, but at the same time, we want to make sure that no matter what happens, we still have to have responsible development. I am going to limit the amount of traffic and the use of those buildings because I think that is the right thing to do, and so we don't have other ER uses that are undesirable for the neighborhood. So with that, I will motion to approve ZC 26027 with the following amended language. A PDER for studios and office spaces, excluding all other uses, site plan required.
Motion and second, council. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-029.
Councilmember Martinez, no speakers on this item. Sorry, I have to find your name here. There we go.
I'm going to uphold Zoning Commission's recommendation for denial with prejudice on ZC 26029.
Motion and a second, council. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-030.
Councilwoman Jamerson, we have 1 speaker, but only if there's opposition.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second, council. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-031.
Councilmember Beck.
Move to approve, and I'd also like to say if anyone has not visited our newest hotel in the near south side, this is part of that really unique development. So I wouldn't normally approve mobile homes, but these are 4 unique Airstreams that'll be used for a boutique hotel.
Got a motion and a second. Councilmember Crane, please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-033.
Councilmember Nettles.
Move to approve.
Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-034.
Councilmember Beck.
Approve.
Recuse myself.
Okay. Councilmember Hill.
I'm going to recuse myself as I have a position on the Board of Trustees at TCU.
Got a motion and a second by Councilmember Crane. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-035.
Councilmember Martinez.
So I know Mr. Kunkel is here. Did you wish to speak or just?
Just if there's opposition, but I think we've come to an agreement.
Yeah, just for the record, can you share what tenant is you're already working with? No, not yet. Okay, I know you've been working with the surrounding neighborhood associations, and they are excited, and we're really hoping that comes through. And so we've already been talking, and so I'm going to make a motion different than what was proposed to zoning, but I had a question for staff. Dave, are you still here? So on the application, it speaks about, it mentions parking or semi-trucks on the property. Would that be for overnight storage of those trucks, or would it just be allowed for like drop-off or deliveries?
So there's nothing in the zoning ordinance that would prohibit an oversized commercial vehicle from parking on property that is private property and used for commercial use.
Okay, so that would be allowed by right and with E?
It would be, yes.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. So I am going to move to approve ZC 26035 with the following amended language: PDE plus indoor storage and contractor shop excluding convenience store, site plan approved.
Got a motion and a second, council. Please vote.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, and congratulations, Councilman Jameson.
Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-036.
Councilmember Martinez. There's one speaker on this item, Daniel Guerrero.
Daniel, did you wish to speak, or I know you have the support of the neighborhood association?
Yes, just in case you had any questions, I was here prepared to answer anything.
Oh, nope. Move to approve.
Motion and a second, council. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-037.
Councilmember Flores.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second, council. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-038.
Councilmember Hall.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second, council. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is ZC-26-040.
Councilmember Hall, we have one speaker, Katie Hartzell.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Kate Hartzell. I'm one of the owners of Silver Dollar Self-Storage. I own it with my brothers, Lucas and Rhett Hartzell, and they couldn't be here tonight, so it's just me, but hopefully this will be pretty straightforward. We are simply asking for signage to be allowed on our building. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the neighborhood. We're in between Sycamore School Road and McPherson Boulevard. We're on Reisinger, and we have a self-storage facility that doesn't have any signs on the building. There's a lot of commercial, heavy retail, restaurants, fast food places. Most of the businesses have signage. I think we're the only ones out there that don't, and we're just looking to have that visibility for our customers and just identify who we are. We just built a facility in Crowley. Some of you may have seen it, but it's we've got some channel letters that say storage, self-storage, and they're black and white and just classy, simple, and that's what we're proposing for this facility.
Yes. So Ms. Hartzell, thank you so much for being here. you and I did get an opportunity to meet earlier this year, and one of the things that we discussed was the agreement that you and your brothers made with our previous councilmen when you developed, that you wouldn't have neon signs on the building because of its proximity to the residential community. And I think the agreement at that time was that you would have a marquee sign, which I think you currently have. Since that time, there's also been a development across the street, which I think is a retirement home or something of that sort, which your building would face. One of the things that I asked was, I certainly understand your need to want to advertise, but you did enter into that agreement. So I wanted to know, have you talked to the residents? Have you talked to the leadership at Llano Springs to get support for that so that I can support you?
Yes, ma'am. So just to be clear, it sounds like it was an agreement, and we did go forward. There was never any talk with our previous council member about signage. We were continued 3 times at council, and then at the vote, that condition was placed on our property. We met with him a week later to find out why, and he wanted to retract it. He asked his assistant if he could retract it, and we would have to go back through city council. At that time, we were focused on just getting a building permit since we were so far behind, and we were lacking time and money. I mean, it was just costly. Now, to answer your other question about community outreach and meeting with the HOAs, et cetera, the neighborhoods out there, Feathergrass and Llano Springs, are a lot of my tenants, a lot of my renters. I mean, probably 80% of my renters are from those communities. We have brought it up to them. How would you feel if we had a sign on our building? We don't understand why you guys don't have a sign. Everyone else in the neighborhood has a sign. I have customers that call and say, we can't find you. We're driving in from Midland and we're trying to find you, and we don't have signage. So we're just asking to be treated as fairly as everyone else.
And so I understand that, and that is why I asked for you to meet with the leadership, because what I can say about Feathergrass, Llano Springs, and Chisholm Trail Ranch is that they are very engaged communities. I meet with them on a regular basis, and if you can get that support, at least just a letter, an email, or anything, I would be more comfortable in doing that. If there wasn't a need for you to come before this council, then, I mean, it would be a by right thing. And so in order for me to make that decision, I would like to have community input. And you've had several months to do that. So what I would like to do is continue this case and give you an opportunity to engage them. Again, I understand your position, but I'm just asking you to reach out to that community because that is something that you did agree to. And if you didn't agree to it, it certainly was the agreement that was reached.
So just to be clear on what you're expecting for the community outreach.
I'm just asking you to engage the leadership at Llano Springs, which is the adjacent community. We can put you in touch with them if you want to engage the office. We can give you a phone number for that contact. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I've been in contact with them. My property manager lives in the neighborhood, and we're in contact with them. We talk to them. They're our renters.
There's an HOA president there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You need
you can talk to Frank Thomason.
Yes.
That would be great.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So in the matter of ZC 26040, I'm recommending a continuance.
Do you have a day?
June what is it?
6th.
June 6th.
June 9th.
9th, sorry. There,
Sorry,
I can't.
June 9th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got a motion and a second for continuance to June 9th. Motion carries.
And just as a note, ZC-26-0441 was continued to June 23rd. Next is MNC 26-0370.
Councilmember Crane.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, y'all thought you were going to get away without some condemnation language, but here we go. This, I think, is the last piece of the Bomber Spur Trail as we move forward. But I move that the Fort Worth City Council adopt the resolution authorizing the use of power of eminent domain to acquire 1.015 acres in fee simple from real property owned by C.H. Norton, deceased. The property interest is needed for the Bomber Spur project to construct a 12-foot wide shared use Bomber Spur Trail from Calmont Avenue to West Vickery Boulevard. Property is located in 4350 Southwest Boulevard in the Franklin S. Perry Survey, abstract number 1226, Tarrant County, Texas. The property interest to be acquired is described by meets and bounds and depicted by survey exhibits attached to this mayor and council communication.
Second. Got a motion and a second from Councilmember Flores. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next is MNC 26-0373.
Councilmember Beck. I've got a motion and a second, Council. Please vote. Motion carries.
Council, that concludes all of the action items and gets us to public comments.
Thank you, Jeanette. I'm looking for my public comment list. Okay, Leanne saved me, thank you. Our first speaker is Conley Brewer, followed by Jonathan Morgan.
Mayor and council members, good evening again. My name is Conley Brewer. I am a resident of District 6, and I'd like to speak tonight about the real cost of living in Fort Worth, not just the numbers that we put on paper, but what residents really feel. We've heard the city lower the property tax rate, but for most homeowners, the check we write didn't go down, it did go up. The city increased the fees on garbage, water, and sewer. For families trying to make ends meet, those fee increases function exactly like a tax increase. Whether it's called a fee or a tax, it is a shell game, and it still comes out of the same household budget. Fort Worth did not adopt the no new revenue rate, and that resulted in an effective 1.65% tax increase for residences. I want to emphasize something important. Residents don't feel the rate. We feel the amount of the check that we have to write every year. Another piece that often gets overlooked is our appraisals go up every single year. Those rising valuations wipe out any tax cut the city claims. A lower rate doesn't help when the value of your home is pushed higher and higher. The end result is the same. People pay more. Homeowners feel the escrow shortages, they feel the mortgage increases, and they feel the pressure on their monthly budget. I would like to share something very personal and explain why this matters so much to me. My wonderful and beautiful wife, Dawn, who last year at the very early age of 48 years old was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's disease. I'm not just her husband, I am her caretaker. When our budget gets tight, we eliminate our wants in order to preserve her needs. We make sacrifices, we prioritize what truly matters, as many families in Fort Worth do. In my professional life, I have spent many years in roles where responsibility, safety, and prioritization are non-negotiable. First, as a major airline pilot, where I established over 8,000 hours of flying experience and successfully navigated 2 in-flight emergencies, and for the last 15 plus years as a rail traffic controller. In both of those jobs, you learn very quickly that when something is essential, it gets the resources and attention. When it's not, it waits. Families operate that way, and my household operates that way, and I believe the city should operate that way too. When residents are tightening their belts, the city should not be increasing the financial burden through fees, rising appraisals, and effective tax hikes. Transparency matters, prioritization matters, and understanding the lived reality of the people who pay those bills matter. I'm asking this council to take a closer look at the full picture, not just the tax rate, but the total cost residents are being asked to shoulder. Because for many families, including mine, every single dollar counts. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jonathan Morgan, followed by Adrian Smith.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Jonathan Morgan. I live at the Admiral Apartments located in Northeast Fort Worth, Euless Corridor. I came here originally because of a library access issue. Since then, Mr. Choppa's office, as well as the Fort Worth Library, has responded, and I appreciate that response. They provided a survey for me to complete, giving input regarding the strategic planning process, and then explained the tech share process as set by the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. I understand that better now. But the larger issue remains, and it is the one that I want to focus on tonight. Who represents residents like me? Saturday, I received my voter registration card in the mail. It lists my residence as Euless, Texas, but on that same card, it lists my city as Fort Worth and my council district as FW5. That's the confusion in one document. My mailing address says Euless, my voter registration card says Fort Worth, my school district is HEB, Fort Worth police respond to my apartment complex, yet when I contacted Ms. Goodall's office to sign up for public comment, even the staff member helping me could not identify clearly my council representative using the city's own technology because I, quote, live in Euless. That is not a criticism of her, as she was very willing to be helpful and professional. But if the city's own staff cannot quickly determine who represents a resident at my address, then the issue is bigger than one library card. The library situation is just how I discovered the problem. I was trying to use the nearby Euless Public Library, but because I'm not considered a Euless resident for that purpose, I would either need to pay what would have been a $40 non-resident fee or use the text share workaround. I understand the need for a process, but from a resident's perspective, it still feels backward to drive 32 miles round trip through 3 different cities just to get back to Fort Worth to receive permission I would have ultimately received anyway. That is not efficient. And more importantly, it exposed the bigger question: where do residents in this corridor actually fit? I'm not here demanding that Fort Worth build a library branch tomorrow. Maybe expanded services in the Northeast corridor are a discussion worth having long term, especially as the city rather, continues growing. But tonight, my immediate concern is representation and clarity. I've been a Fort Worth resident for voting, city council districting, police response, and tax jurisdiction, then I should be able to easily determine who represents me. And if I'm not a Fort Worth resident for some city purposes, then residents deserve a plain English explanation of where that line is and why it changes depending on the public service involved. This is about access, accountability, and whether residents in overlapping jurisdictions are being left in civic purgatory. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Adrian Smith, followed by Bob Willoughby.
Adrian Smith, District 6. I am one with the people. So the earlier 4 o'clock canvassing of the election votes, Mayor Parker, those were standalone issues. I signed up to speak on 2 of the agenda items, but I was only given an opportunity to speak to 1. But I want to thank Councilwoman Peoples for asking you about that. Yeah, she caught it, and you stated, no, we're just gonna go ahead. She recognized that there were speakers, but you denied us that right. You conspired with the city secretary to silence us. But it's all good, Mayor Parker. You know you can't silence me. Here we go. Political endorsements typically tell us something regarding a candidate who's seeking a political office. Political endorsements from individuals are usually party-based or personal in nature. Political endorsements from PACs, super PACs, business entities, or special interest groups typically is for the purpose of receiving something in return from the candidate supported if elected. Case in point with the newly elected representative for Fort Worth City Council District 10. I'm gonna give you some grace, but I'm gonna say what I need to say. Will his purpose be for the district overall, or will he do the bidding of the groups that supported his campaign? Tarrant County Commissioner Manny Ramirez, Fort Worth Professional Firefighters 440, the all too known Fort Worth Police Officers Association, Trey Pack, who were recommended by the Greater Fort Worth Realtor Group, which reaches out to all candidates during the elections. And last but not least, yourself, Mayor Matty Parker. We know the all too familiar sticking points most individuals use with the public when seeking their support by way of them voting. The groups, not so much, because they hold closed-door meetings for gauging candidates that will be favorable to them, but they use financial incentives as means of support, usually giving money to people's campaigns so they can get, favorable means down the line. Then there's the usual switch up that the candidate elects do on everyday people once in office. The campaign promises that were made become dung and the implementation for them. Campaign promises made but not kept. The prior mentioned groups, not so much. They typically get a return on their investment by way of voting from the candidate they supported financially. This is truly how the United States of America political system operates.
Bob Willoughby will be followed by E.J. Carrion.
I don't know why you don't have comment up there. I guess you was trying to trick me. Play the video, okay? Guess up here. Go ahead and play the video. This is part one.
Unfortunately, Bob, your video is not going to be played this afternoon. If you'd like for Leanne to explain why, I'd be happy to have her.
Okay. Let's put this up there, okay? Let's see. They wouldn't play my video. And Mayor, Maddie, you told me to ask your trusted confidant why they wouldn't play the video. Okay, one, I sent this to the attorney, but she's not answered. Per state law, you said you couldn't play it because per state law. What statute? She's not answered, okay, Maddie? Other one is, who is the ultimate, which I got that spelt wrong, so I'm glad you can't see it. Who's the ultimate decision maker on this? When they take away my videos, who makes that final decision? Who wants to take responsibility? No one seems to want to take the single responsibility, do they? Because nobody's answered. So you said check with your confidant attorney, and your confidant attorney, the only one you said you would trust, is not answering. So where are we at now, Maddie, if you don't answer? Does that mean that y'all were wrong? That you removed my video without a status? Maybe you owe me 3 minutes, huh? I think you owe me more than that on that. But anyway, there it is. This way she can't say she didn't get the question because here it is documented. I'm asking it right here. These two questions, there they are. Everybody can see it. Let's see if she answers, okay? Another thing is, move this comment meeting from the bottom to the top. The school board came in, they changed it. 3 minutes for everybody. No 2 minutes, 3 minutes all night long. That's good. That's for the people. And we're on top. Commissioner's Court, we were on the bottom. I asked the county judge to move it to the top. He did. We're on top of the Commissioner's Court. We're on top of every city out there, but here, you got us on the bottom. And you know why? You don't want us to expose what you're doing wrong to people, because if they knew, you wouldn't be able to get that raise. That's one thing. If they knew what was going on up here, you wouldn't get a raise. You'd get fired. But anyway, that's okay. I don't mind. Here's the main thing. The school board, teach these kids to be not like this generation out here. It's a responsibility to take care of your city, not a privilege. And if we teach them at the school board how to vote on candidates and put them in here, we won't have the people of the likes of you in here, because you're the most god-awful people I've ever met in my life. You know that? You don't answer questions. You take away our rights and you lie. You're a two-faced liar, Maddie, till you take it back. You'll be called one, okay?
Our next speaker is EJ Carrion, followed by David Rodriguez.
I'm starting to feel like you guys put me after Bob on purpose. Your behavior has activated the community, and instead of having courage and course correcting, you're trying to hide the opposition. This is why you spend 2 hours with proclamations and personal updates that can go into a newsletter while canceling votes when community opposition arrives. Proclamations should never go longer than public comments. Today, you left 34 community members hanging by saying they can't speak against Black Mountain data centers. When we had data center vote in Michael Crane's district, you all waited an hour to show up to start the meeting. This strategy is only protecting one person, and that is Mayor Maddie Parker. And I'm here to explain when it happened, and it happened a year ago. May 20th, 2025, Fort Worth City Council members, led by Councilman Nettles, voted 6-4 along partisan lines to oppose Tarrant County's mid-decade racial gerrymander. Nettles, with Elizabeth Beck, you, Carlos Flores, you, Jeanette Martinez, Deborah Peoples, and Jared Williams at the time, voted in favor to try to stop the racial gerrymander. We saw that Mayor Maddie Parker didn't care about the people and instead cared about the party and let Judge Tim O'Hare do what he did. And then June 2025 showed up with the DEI vote. The two Latinos fold and join the establishment to protect Mayor Parker. Every single one of you should ask yourselves, how is your personal career better since a year ago when she made the mistake to go with Judge Tim O'Hare than with the people of Fort Worth? You were leading the fight against racial gerrymander, And now you're the person on the dais with the most data center money bags on this council. And so now the people are activated. You have 140 people speaking at International Newcomers Academy, and all of you stayed silent. Data centers, you have pushed yourself all the way back against the diving board. We're now June 9th. We showed up every time, and you keep pushing it back. But now June 9th, June 2nd, we'll be watching the working session. June 9th, we'll be there, and we'll be wondering, will you all have courage? And as you guys can see, the people are giving up on you. During this bond package, it's the first time Fort Worth residents voted for affordable housing. It's the first time residents in 20 years voted for city council pay increases, while at the same time ensuring that Maddie Parker, Jay Choppa, and the establishment don't get their revised amendments to still have their power when the people change. The community is activated, and if you don't believe me, wait till May. All of you will be fighting for your seats.
Our next speaker is David Rodriguez, followed by James Smith.
All right, so in my time that I've started coming out in civic engagement for Fort Worth, I've been to 3 specific places of political power. Here at City Council, over there in Commissioner's Court, and then most recently at the Fort Worth ISD School Board. And what I've noticed across all 3 of these pillars of political power is that there's a single thread that seems to connect all of them, and is that y'all refuse to engage or respond to the people's movement and the people's power. To Mr. Karen's point, 100 plus people spoke at the Fort Worth ISD School Board to support INA, and they still voted against them. We even got belittled by Ms. Rosa Maria Verdeja, who said, oh, I understand and I empathize with these journeys, but apparently she doesn't empathize with the journeys enough to vote against the closure of the schools. We had 70 people speak out for DEI here at City Council, and again, the DEI, it got cut. Same thing in here, and then, over at Commissioner's Court, 20 plus residents spoke out against ICE for the ICE vote, and of course across partisan lines, they voted to expand the vote. And now, of course, here with this Black Mountain Data Center, y'all just keep pushing it back. So whenever the people are asking for justice, when it's environmental justice like for Echo Heights, what are they getting? When people are asking for political justice, whenever it comes to all the deaths in Tarrant County Jail, what are they receiving? Whenever people are asking for racial justice with the murder of Tatiana Jefferson, again, you just keep the dribble just comes out. We're nonpartisan. Oh, but then y'all are going to align yourselves with people who literally believe that Western heritage is going to disappear. You talk about how you don't understand our positions, and yet how hard is it to say no to endorsements? Some of y'all gotten $20,000 from this Black Mountain Data Center. Councilman Nettles, you got $20,000 from this organization. Maddie Parker, you got $12,000. Carlos Flores, you got $4,500. Crane, Mr. Lauersdorf, Blaylock, Hill, Beck, Martinez, y'all all received $2,000. And for some people, that's a fifth of their paycheck, even more. Sometimes that can't even cover, that's half of their paycheck in a month. And so how are the people supposed to be playing against corporations and data centers, and y'all just sit there and do nothing about it? Because y'all talk about fiscal responsibility, and y'all go on these tangents, and it's just incredibly frustrating as a resident. And last thing, and especially y'all like to talk about legality. Well, the legality of what you do is not equal to a lasting legacy.
James Smith, followed by Jamie P. Is James here? I don't see him. Jamie P., followed by Jonathan Demarest.
Hey, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Jaime. I'm here to talk about Black Mountain, and I want to start by being very clear about where things stand now. The vote that was supposed to happen tonight was pushed to June, and yet still so many community members still came out because they needed an outlet for their opposition. They need a pressure release valve. They needed council to see their faces and feel their resistance to Black Mountain. So many people that came are now more connected and more ready and more eager to fight this fight. This delay is layered upon a series of delays that have come regarding Black Mountain since February this year. Council, why won't you just vote no? Your action surrounding this project has already generated deep frustration and distrust, and the community has made it clear that they vehemently oppose this project. And the opposition of Black Mountain is only growing. Residents across Fort Worth are getting together in extraordinary ways. Thousands upon thousands of emails sent to council, dozens upon dozens of speakers registering to speak, several community meetings had, and even more to come, countless research hours, outreach, public pressure, media attention, entire volunteer networks built just to make sure people understand what is happening and know who to hold accountable. Pushing this vote down the road is only creating a pressure system that will be too big for you to handle if you don't oppose this project come June. Pressure, anger, and distrust is building with every day that y'all don't come out and reverse course on Black Mountain and undo the mistakes y'all have made by approving so much land for rezoning and taking so many thousands of dollars in campaign donations from Black Mountain. Frustration is building in these communities that have already had their concerns minimized and ignored for years, and at a certain point, that pressure has to go somewhere. That is what is happening here. Community concerns continue to grow inside neighborhoods, being asked to absorb even more industry. People are exhausted and frustrated. We deserve a council that listens to us and acts to protect us from harmful industry expansion when legitimate concerns are raised about water use, energy demand, environmental impact, quality of life. We deserve a council that listens to us, not a council that does nothing while the zoning commission makes condescending and dismissive remarks stating affected community members are afraid of progress. So I want to be direct about what happens next between now and June, because the period between now and June carries enormous importance. If the underlying direction of this process stays the same, the frustrations you're seeing are only going to intensify. People are paying attention. We are watching this process very closely and making note of how our concerns are being dismissed. So use this time now, between now and June, wisely, not to find a better way to sell this project, but to seriously reverse course. Council, do what is right and vote no on Black Mountain votes come June and beyond. Because if you don't decide to
Jonathan
reverse course,
Demarest is our next speaker. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jonathan Demarest, and I'm a resident of District 3. I want to begin by saying that Fort Worth has excellent resources available for people struggling with substance abuse and addiction. Many organizations across the city work relentlessly to help people recover before lives are destroyed and innocent people are hurt. And I sincerely hope that anyone in a position of public trust who may need those resources has the wisdom to seek them. Because when an elected official is arrested for driving while intoxicated, that is not simply a private mistake. It is a public safety issue. It is a question of judgment, and public office requires judgment worthy of the people being represented. That elected official, ladies and gentlemen, is Michael Crane, who got a DWI recently, and I do, in fact, question his judgment, as should all of you. Because this issue does not exist in isolation. It is accompanied by an overall disrespect for the citizens of our community. Adding to his questionable judgment, he has also now become the flag bearer of data centers in the city of Fort Worth. District 3 is increasingly being asked to accept decisions that appear to prioritize outside corporate interests over the long-term interests of the people who actually live here. The continued push for massive data center expansion is one example. These facilities consume enormous amounts of electricity and water. They place strain on infrastructure and raise serious questions about sustainability, future utility costs, and long-term planning for this city. Yet residents are often treated as though these concerns are secondary to whatever development opportunity is currently on the table. Fort Worth should not be governed as a resource colony for corporations while residents absorb the consequences. Leadership is not just about supporting growth. It is about exercising restraint, foresight, and sound judgment about what kind of city we are building and who ultimately benefits from these decisions. So tonight, I am calling on Councilman Crane to publicly explain to District 3 residents why he believes continued large-scale data center expansion is in their best long-term interest, and what safeguards he intends to support regarding infrastructure strain, water usage, and energy demand. And furthermore, why we should trust any answer he gives when we cannot even trust him on the road. Because residents deserve more than vague assurances. They deserve leadership that treats public trust, public safety, and the future of this city with the seriousness that those responsibilities require. Thank you.
Council, that is the conclusion of our speakers this evening. Meeting is adjourned.